If your daily coffee might be stale, scorched, or pulled through a dirty machine, do you still drink it? You're in the right place. Today we're ranking 11 big names, 7 to skip, 3 to trust, so you stop paying for burnt water and start getting real coffee. We'll show you where batches sit for hours, where cleaning gets skipped, and where craft still matters. By the end, you'll know exactly which counters to avoid and which ones actually care about freshness, maintenance, and your health. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. Starbucks, burnt on purpose. Let's start with the promise on the cup. Dark chocolate, smoke, bold. What they don't print is the roast strategy that sands every bean into the same shade, so your latte tastes identical from Phoenix to Paris. Consistency sounds safe, but it steamrolls origin. That edge that reads rich on a menu often smothers blueberry, citrus, or florals and hides rough spots in the beans. You pay for character, you get uniform. Former roasters talk about set profiles that trade terroir for predictability. In blind panels, darker roasts often flag notes like charcoal or ashy. That's the design. Same cup everywhere. There's a cleaner path. Lighter, well-tuned roasts keep acids and aromatics. Fresh roast dates and calibrated grinders pull out sweetness instead of bitterness. Chains that dial in daily get clarity. Want the bean to speak? Go to Blue Bottle. If roast is the mask here, maintenance is the hazard next. McDonald's McCafe, the milk line problem. Your latte looks fine until you learn what sits inside those automated milk lines that run all day. Warm milk circulates through hidden tubes and valves, and when the clock beats the cleaning sheet, residue stays put. Complex machines save time, but add risk. Milk films build fast. Skip a deep clean during a rush, and you trade speed for sour, grainy cups and a sanitation gamble you did not sign up for. Audits and worker accounts point to gunked gaskets, chalky scale, and mold-prone corners when full disassembly is delayed. Off notes creep in, tangy dairy, strange texture, an aftertaste that lingers longer than the latte. Milk proteins cling to warm metal. Without sanitizer cycles and teardowns, biofilms form. Scale also swings brew temps and throws shots off balance. Want drive-through convenience minus the grime? Go 7 Brew. Now let's move on to coffee that sits hot long after the rush. 7-Eleven, hours on the hot plate. That convenience carafe. It is convenient for the store, not for your taste buds. Coffee sits on heat, exposed to air, while the clock keeps running and the aroma walks out first. Heat and oxygen strip the good stuff fast. After a while, the cup turns sharp and hollow. Rotations sound nice on paper, but short crews and busy hours mean pots linger. As the level drops in a glass pot, what remains rides the hot plate and picks up scorch. Holding accelerates oxidation. Oils stick to the walls, and if those carafes are not scrubbed to bare metal, rancid notes bleed into the next batch. Studies show coffee stales within minutes on heat. Best practice is fresh brews or insulated servers with strict time caps. For fresh on demand, go Dutch Brothers. From scorched to thin, let us talk watery coffee. Tim Hortons, the thinning of a classic. You remember a fuller cup. Now it drinks thin, like tea with a coffee afterthought. The smell is there, but the sip fades fast, and you reach for sugar before you even think about it. Cost cuts and supplier shifts push blends toward less body and less depth. Thermal dispensers keep it warm, not alive. Strength feels watered even before you add actual water, and the finish turns flat. Fans call out the slide from balanced and nutty to weak and bitter. Holding preserves heat, but not aroma. Stale oils and urns add a papery edge. Body lives in dissolved solids. Lower dose and older beans drop TDS and mouthfeel. Chains that show sourcing and roast dates tend to pour fuller cups. Want a sturdy Northwood-style brew? Switch to Caribou coffee for roasts with structure and steady sweetness. Sweetness can hide weakness. Let us talk about swirls. Dunkin', sugar swirls over coffee. If your coffee tastes like dessert, ask what it is covering. At Dunkin', the answer is often a swirl, heavy on high-fructose corn syrup and additives, built to smooth out rough coffee. The sweetness reads easy, but it is syrup doing the heavy lifting. Lower-grade beans roasted hard leave bitter edges. Over-extraction adds a bite. The sugar blanket hides both. Ingredient lists show added sugars and emulsifiers. Palate tests find that swirls blunt acidity and mute stale notes, like frosting on a dry cake. That's not balance. That's cover. Research on taste shows sugar reduces how you sense bitterness and defects. Use cleaner milk and better beans, and natural sweetness shows up without the candy shell. Trade the swirl for real texture. La Colombe's draft lattes use quality beans, real milk, and nitrogen for a creamy body without syrup. Now for a cup that tastes lab-made. Burger King, the hot plate hangover. That mid-afternoon pour with the chemical aftertaste did not start that way in the morning. It picked it up on the hot plate, hour after hour, as the pot simmered down and the good aromas bailed. Big batches sit warm to cut waste. As the level drops, the brew cooks and concentrates bitter, metallic notes, especially when urns carry yesterday's film. Former managers describe pressure to hold, not dump, so the pot limps along past its peak. Sensory notes slide from nutty to burnt syrup after long heat exposure. That tracks with flavor chemistry. Extended heat strips volatile compounds. What is left is harsh, then plastic-like when stale oils and plasticizers leach from unclean gear. Want to taste coffee, not hot plate? Go Stumptown. Direct trade beans, clean processing, and fruit-forward cups that are bold without the burn. When coffee is an afterthought, bitterness takes the lead. Taco Bell, coffee is a side quest. Breakfast burrito? Sure. Coffee. That is where the cracks show. The kitchen runs on fryers and grills, so the coffee corner gets the short straw. When the rush hits, cleaning slips, and the brew tastes like it. High bitterness, smoky, hollow. Anecdotes point to film in the lines, scaly baskets, and a generic blend with no origin or roast date anywhere. Multiple taste tests park it at the bottom with burnt water with a coffee aftertaste, and one review called it, someone dissolved a charcoal briquette in hot water. That is not a profile, that is neglect. Here is the pattern. Cost first beans with zero transparency, plus dirty hardware. Mineral scale and grim baskets skew extraction toward harsh phenolics. Want craft in a fast lane? Choose Aroma Joe's for barista-level attention, cleaner machines, and a cup that tastes intentional. Next up, unlimited refills meet limited freshness. Panera Bread, the bottomless stale. Unlimited Sip Club sounds like a win until you taste what unlimited usually means. Heat without life. Those big thermal dispensers keep the pot warm while the top notes drift off. You get a cup that smells like coffee, then lands dull. Here is the real kicker. High volume plus long holding windows equals past its peak pours. Oils cling to the urn walls, and if staff do not scrub to metal, yesterday's flavors bleed into today's batch. Sweetness falls flat. Bitterness creeps up. Like reheating fries, the texture is there, but the magic is gone. Coffee loses volatile aromatics within minutes after brewing. Best practice is smaller batches, strict time caps, and frequent deep cleaning. If you want precision over volume, go to Intelligentsia. Seasonal beans, tight brew specs, and cups that let origins sing. Now let us talk ethics and clarity, not just flavor. Cafe Nero, the transparency gap. The cafe vibe is strong. The sourcing details? Not always. Big claims float on menus, but when you ask for origin, process, or what farmers were paid, the answers get soft fast. Here's the problem. Ethics without receipts is marketing. If you cannot see farm names, harvest notes, or premiums, you cannot judge quality or impact. Quality and ethics sit in the dark together. Consumers have flagged vague green talk for a reason. Specialty peers publish farm names, sensory scores, and payment info, the kind of specifics that act like a receipt, not a slogan. That level of detail tracks with better cups and better practices. Transparency links to control. Traceable lots, roast dates, and QC logs predict cleaner brews and fairer upstream pay. Opt for Onyx Coffee Lab. Their Black Label reports list farm, price, grade, and roast approach. A cup you can trust. Last, the gourmet claim parked by the gas pump. Gas station gourmet, mold risk in the wild. Fancy gourmet signs by the pump do not fix beans stored in warm, humid corners. You get heat, steam, and open bins. Great for profits, lousy for coffee. Here is the real kicker. Bulk, low-grade beans kept warm and damp risk mold and flat, musty cups. Let urns sit for hours and the brew turns bitter and hollow, like toast left in a steamer. When storage goes wrong, mycotoxins can form. Rules exist, but sloppy logistics raise risk. Rarely deep clean gear leaves stale oils that stick and seep, turning fresh brews cardboard dull the next day. Quality needs guardrails. Fresh crop beans, sealed bags, and routine grinder service. Most stations skip them. They also skip origin info and roast dates, so you have no way to judge age. Stick to local roasters, fresh crop, clear dates, Real staff answers. We have covered the worst. Now let's flip the script with who gets it right. Peet's Coffee. Consistency without the burn. You want big chain reliability without that charcoal afterglow. Peet's delivers steadiness without turning every bean into soot. Scaling quality is hard. Most chains lean on darker roasts to hide drift. Peet's pins flavor with training and upkeep instead. Staff learn extraction, milk temps, and how to adjust on the fly. The result holds from store to store. Daily cleaning, frequent calibration, and tight brew specs keep lattes aligned across cities. Small batch roasting keeps blends lively instead of dull, like choosing fresh bread over shrink-wrapped loaves. Here's the real kicker. Grinder alignment and dose checks stabilize extraction, so shots land sweet rather than sharp. Origin-focused blends hold structure in milk, so richness shows up without a burnt edge. If you want predictable and rich without ash, Peet's proves quality can scale when you invest in people and maintenance. Now a lighter hand that celebrates origin. Blue Bottle. Freshness as a rule. What if the roast date mattered more than the brand name? That flips the script. Blue Bottle treats coffee like fresh bread with a short clock, so your cup starts with life, not leftovers. Most chains hide dates. They don't. Tight freshness windows and gentle roast curves keep fruit and florals intact instead of cooking them flat. The real kicker is the daily discipline. Espresso is redialed, grinders shift with humidity, and water runs to spec. Ask why this Ethiopia tastes like blueberry and staff can tell you. Freshness and calibration cut variance. Light to medium roasts keep origin acids and sugars, so you do not need sauces to fake sweetness. Systems beat shortcuts. If you're tired of burnt notes, this is the clean, bright answer. Careful methods, clear standards, repeatable results. And for the person who wants the cup made just for them, not for the line. Phil's Coffee. One cup, your way. No batch brew, no espresso. Your cup is built from scratch for you. That sounds slow, but Phil's trains coffee artists to tune grind, pour, strength, and sweetness on the fly. And they do it without syrup crutches. Here is the real kicker. The small filter, made to order drip dodges heat holding, so aromatics stay alive. Lines move because the steps are tight and repeatable. Weigh, grind, bloom, pour, taste. The system is craft, not chaos. Single cup extraction keeps volatile compounds in the cup instead of on a warming plate. Less time on heat means brighter aroma and cleaner finish. Staff remember regulars' orders, which locks in consistency and keeps you coming back. If you want cafe-level craft at scale, this is the template. Fresh, personal, and never stale from a carafe. You now know who to skip and who to trust. Time to close it out. Bad coffee is not an accident. It is a system choice. Over roast, hold hot, skip cleaning. Good coffee runs on a different system. Fresh beans, clean gear, trained people. That is why some cups sing and others taste tired. We saw what happens when maintenance slips and freshness dies. Health inspections have cited coffee equipment with visible mold and months-old reservoirs. Hot plates held for hours leave that burnt, metallic aftertaste. Corporate cared more about speed than quality, a former manager said. If this gave you something to chew on, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who drinks burnt water daily. Spend where standards stick.